I decided to play some Nemesis. Why not? I said. I was talking and texting on my phone, and I decided to lift my gaze up and see what kind of lobby I got. And then I see this. Yep, totally fine. I decided to leave that lobby and search again. And guess what? I got the same lobby. I'm not joking. So I just started recording and see how it plays out, and yeah, it was just a hacker. She could attack with no cooldown. I also had her power icon, as you can see in this vid, and yeah, she could do any normal killer stuff. There was no problems actually. It was really interesting to play. However, she was a hacker still. We decided to kill all 3 survivors that were next to hooks, so it was no problem, and I still reported her. Another game, I was just playing with Trickster in the family residence map, and everything was doing great. It was a good game overall. Survivors were not that skilled in my opinion, so I decided to just not be sweaty and just play casually. After a while I downclouded it and I see her corpse completely disappear and Jake takes my aggro. However, I noticed that I couldn't catch this Jake. I was not even getting closer. Every time I lost his sight, I thought he was just walking faster. I didn't know at the time. I understand that I'm a trickster, I'm slower than usual. However, it took too long, and then I started just being very suspicious of this Jake. So I don't remember how, in the end I did get him, and he decides to insta-heal himself, and yeah, that confirms my suspicions. He starts jumping, teleporting. He could jump on top of the building of the house, of the family residence. I couldn't down him at all. I decided to leave the other 3 survivors. However, I later discovered that Claudette was with this Jake, where I have no evidence that she was hacking. But yeah, it's absurd, and they decided to do this at the end of the game. That's the funny thing. But the worst offender overall is this one, and I like to call them subtle hackers. You don't know that they are hacking. They do some really small stuff. You need to be a good player in order to understand that they are hacking, and I think like inexperienced killers or survivors will just think that they were super good and that's it. So basically I decided to play Trapper and have some gameplay recorded for later use, and I got this team which was very good survivors overall. I got ruin cleansed at the start of the game by Michaela. I decide to chase her. I see that she's a good looper, so I decide to just drop her and go for another survivor, and yeah, overall they completely destroy me. They were efficient, but then one thing, just one mistake made by Michaela got me thinking that she was a hacker. So at one moment in the game I knew she had any means necessary, so I just started kicking every single pallet I could and not leave any so they don't reuse it later. I guess she really wanted to use her hacks, so at one moment she stuns me with a pallet, starts flashing me, and I turn around, and at that moment you can see this scene. If you haven't noticed, I'll tell you what happened. So it didn't take even 2 seconds and the pallet was already up. It was instantly up. And now I tell you, at that moment I was just confused. I started thinking that she might be using hacks. But yeah, in order to lift a pallet up, you need to take 4 seconds. And it was instant by her side. I just keep thinking about it, and later in the end screen, I see that she has no any means necessary perk. So she was basically, it was a hack in order to lift pallets up, I guess. So she was using 5 perks instead of 4. And when I checked her profile, she had a back ban already on Steam, which is funny that they let people with back bans play. No, imagine that I didn't care and I just went to my next match thinking they were just good. These hackers would be ruining other people's games and they don't know it. I'm not talking only from a killer's perspective. I play both sides, but this is a serious problem, and I urge behavior to at least take the in-game reports more seriously for normal people to report easier, or better yet, improve the anti-cheat system. I understand that it's impossible to have a perfect game with no cheaters, but this is the first game that I've played that has so many, to the point that I just think it's normal. So thank you for watching. If you have any stories with other hackers, please comment down below, and see you in the next video.